marginal, but it's all right.
Also, Kevin, I'm here just to see that it was working technology-wise. This is Paul.
Hi, Paul. We're all working, I think, except for Helen.
Is that better,
Well, no,
David?
Helen's video voice is working. My voice is working, but I'm connected, but my camera's not working because it says it's not connected, and who knows why. And Helen doesn't have camera at the moment. So we're fine.
I'm not even connected. I'm just doing it by phone, but this is fine. We don't have a whole lot to go over. Right?
Okay.
Nope.
I agree.
So everyone's here and everyone can hear with an A, H-E-A-R, correct?
Yes.
So we'll start with a Pledge of Allegiance. I don't have a flag in the room I'm in. Does anyone have a flag? I guess
There you go.
Kevin.
Get the flag.
Kevin's
No,
got
No, see, I don't have any visual, so
I have one in my. Oh, there you go. There you go.
posting one I still can't see, but whatever. We can stand and
Oh, I
pledge.
stand up. That's
Okay.
dangerous. I'm going to drop something. Nothing.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to
So,
face City Hall.
Kevin.
I'm facing City Hall.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. So, Kevin, why don't you start?
I pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag
Good
of
flag.
the United States of America
United States of
and to the
America.
republic
And to the
for which
republic
it
for which it
stands,
stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tom, you're scraping the ceiling.
I've never chuckled during the Pledge of Allegiance before, but that was humorous.
Yes. Okay. So, I don't think I need instructions on exiting my building. Does anyone else need that?
It's just
Okay.
Tom and I. You guys got to figure out how to get out of your own houses.
Okay, we got that settled. Okay, agenda review. Do we want to do one addition for the, what do you call it?
Public hearing?
Public hearing for the LDRs on inclusionary zoning?
Yeah, you had already approved this to be warned. We dropped the ball on actually getting the ad in the paper. All you need to do is approve a date, and we'll go ahead and do that. And if you decide to go forward, my recommended dates are May 4th or May 18th.
All right, so should we add that to other business? Pardon?
Sure.
Okay. and then we can
I
discuss
didn't
it
hear.
then.
I turned off my video so I can hear better.
Okay, so we'll add to other business.
What were the items?
It was the warning the public hearing on the inclusionary zoning LDRs.
So you had already, Megan, you had
Yep,
already
okay.
approved it to be warned. We did not get the warning in time, into the paper on time. So all you need to do
Yes.
tonight is select a date, and I'm recommending either May 4th or May 18th when we get to that point in the agenda. So.
Okay.
Okay, so that's other business. Okay,
The
so
other thing-
moving on. I'm sorry.
The other
Any-
thing, after the meeting, if you want to stay on, Paul has sent you a memo this afternoon about the Swift Street interim zoning decision. You can hold your deliberative session any way you want to hold it, on the phone, continuing after this meeting is adjourned, by email. But we're behind on that decision, so we wanted to see if we could go ahead and get that done. If you haven't had a chance to read it yet and want to do that, we'll do something on email.
Okay,
Okay?
good.
I have not had a chance to read it. I'm just seeing it now.
Okay, yeah, I read it earlier. So is there anyone from the public on the go-to meeting who would like to make a comment not related to the agenda? I can't see anyone, and I can't hear anyone. So I'm assuming we can move on to item 5, the consent agenda. And we have 2 items, the disbursements and authorizing the settlement of claims.
I'm willing to move that we approve the consent agenda. I do have a question.
Second,
Okay.
and I have a
We just
question on
have-
the second item.
Okay, so Megan, your question, is it on the first or second item?
Also, the second item.
Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, in the settlement agreement, it said, let me just open that up. Within 7 days of receipt of the signed release, this is number 4, and is indicated in paragraph 3 above, the plaintiff shall be paid a total settlement of $1,250 and a check from VLCT. The indemnitor for the city of South Burlington may payable to the lawyer's trust account of counsel for the plaintiff. However, in the agenda for the last meeting, it said that the cost of litigation above our deductible amount and the consideration referenced in the settlement agreement have all been covered through our insurer. So what's the deductible amount? I guess that was my question.
That I do not know.
I have the same question.
What's our deductible on this? I'm not sure what it is.
What's going to be our full out-of-pocket cost on it? That's what I wanted to know.
5,000 is our deductible. Tom thinks $5,000 is our deductible. So, what is it? And so it would be underneath. It would be underneath that.
So the settlement is
Is it
1,500, right? Yeah.
No, that's what our insurer is covering.
Oh.
So I think it's 6,500.
Yeah, it sounds like we're paying 5 and BLCT is paying what, 1,500?
Unless we haven't already gone through our deductible, which is very likely that we have.
So is it possible to know what was sold, or is that not public information? Or what has been alleged to have been sold?
I do not know what was sold, Megan. This is like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. This was over a van.
Yeah. I don't have that level of information about it. This was all handled by our insurer. And so we didn't get involved in it. And I really don't know that answer, but I can get it for you.
Okay. I'm willing to vote on the settlement. I just was curious what caused that.
So am I.
information.
I'll find that out
Hey,
and email you tomorrow.
Thank
is
you.
that okay with you as well, Tim?
Yeah, the claim, if you go back and look at the litigation, the claim was for 50,000 plus in value for the van and its contents, which were supposed to be some tools. This was back during Jack O'Connor's police days where this suit originated. And so I'm just curious, what is the total that's been paid to the claimant, between our deductible plus anything over that? I'm just curious.
Okay, I will find that out.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I don't have that.
Okay. Are you okay, Tim, with approving this
Yes.
without that knowledge? Okay. Any other questions or comments about the consent agenda?
No.
Hearing none, since we're all electronic, let's do a, what do you call it, a roll call, okay? So Tom Chittenden votes
Aye.
Megan Emery,
Aye.
David Kaufman,
Yes.
and Tim Barrett,
Aye.
and Helen Reilly votes aye, so it carries 5-0. Okay, the next item of business is possibly approving the postponing deadline for dog and cat license fees.
I
And
move
Donna
that we,
Kimball-
Yeah, I move that we approve the postponement of the due date for cat and dog licenses,
Well, it's not the
as
due,
spelled out.
it's not the due date, it's the late fees.
It's the late fees. We're
I forgot,
hoping they
sorry.
all come in by May 1st. So
Right.
both the late fees? Okay.
Second.
That's right, because the state couldn't stamp the date, but we could waive the fees. Yeah, so, yeah.
Right.
So moved.
All right. Is there a second?
Second, Tom.
Okay. Tom seconds. Is there any discussion? All right. All in favor of waiving the late fees?
Aye.
Oh, we have to do, okay. Tom Chittenden
I vote aye.
and Megan
I,
and David
Aye.
and Tim
Aye.
and Helen really
Think
is
about
an
that one,
aye.
Jim.
So it passes 5-0. So our next item is other business, and the other business is setting a date, if we wish, for the LDRs for inclusionary zoning.
The public hearing.
The public hearing, yes.
Do we have a sense how full the agendas are?
Well, those agendas were not that heavy to start with. Coming out of this kind of activity, Tim, it's hard to say. Because I don't know when you're going to be able to meet again on substantive policy issues. I'm certainly hoping it's by May, but it's hard to say. So right now, those agendas are not
Just
heavy.
dropped out on me, Kevin. Is it?
I could hear him.
Right now, those agendas are not heavy.
Okay. Why don't,
So the
do we
dates
want to
are
move
May
it to,
4th.
do we want to put it on the latter date? Would that be safer?
That would be the 18th of May.
Yeah, I think that
Does
would
that
be
seem-
safer.
That's a prudent thing to do?
Yep.
I think we're going to be in this situation into early May.
Yeah.
I
I think
agree.
April's probably blown. I hope I'm wrong, but
Oh, I think you're right too. So, do I hear a motion to schedule a public hearing to consider the inclusionary zoning LDRs for May 18th at, let's say 7:30?
Yep.
So moved.
second.
Okay.
Stick to it.
Tom and Tim.
Any further discussion?
Hi, this is
Okay.
Paul.
Yes.
Paul?
I'll
Yes.
just note, this is LDR 13A and 13B, just so that we're tracking the numbers on it for the minutes.
Okay, thank you. 13A and 13B. Good. Okay.
I have an item for other
So-
business as well.
Sorry, 19A and
Okay.
19B. I forgot what year we were in.
19?
Oh, it's 19?
1913A, 1913B. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought we were in 2020.
Well,
Yeah,
but
we
these were
started in
filed.
2019.
Yes, I know. All right, so do we need to have a vote on this? So roll call, Tom
Aye.
and Megan
I,
and David.
Uh-oh.
He's thinking about it. We'll move on to Tim,
Aye.
and Helen is an aye, and David
Is it aye?
isn't with us, but it carries. So
Oh.
you're an aye. Oh, good. Okay, 5-0. So the motion carries. So we will have a public hearing on 1913A and 1913B on
Excellent.
May 18th at 7:30 p.m. All right. Other business. Tim, you have another other business item?
Yeah. Kevin, do you know anything about changes in hours to the food shelf? I heard a rumor that they were reducing hours.
We are not. Not yet. There's still food is available from the Trader Joe's. We have volunteers that will work. We're gonna change how the food shelf is going to change how it provides access by creating packages and then taking them out to the door. But I think the board is pretty unanimous that we feel this has to be something that remains in place.
So people will not be coming in choosing items, or they will stay outside and you get the items for them that they want?
That's the plan. Yep.
Okay. All right. Good.
And then
Thank you.
drop off, that remains Wednesday?
Yes, they're still taking in food. And
10
money.
to 12, right?
Yeah, whatever the original hours are. Nothing has changed that way.
Okay.
Can I come there and get toilet paper?
Maybe.
I found some. Go to PNC in the morning.
Are you a South Burlington resident?
Yes.
And you're welcome to come.
Good. Is there any other business to come before us?
Do you want to deal with that
Hearing-
deliberative session issue, Helen, or do you wait for people to be able to read Paul's memo?
What's your pleasure? I've read it. But if the other members would like to read it, and we could have an email discussion. If you recall, this is that building on Swift Street that was planned to be 3 levels of housing. And it's not in, it's what? It's not in the IZ zone, or it is?
It is
I think
excluded.
it is.
This is Paul. It is excluded. It's part of what is subject to interim zoning. It's the first or second parcel outside of the transit overlay district, so therefore it's under interim zoning. The rest of the street district is excluded from interim zoning, but this one happens to be just a hair further out. It's right next to the. It's immediately next to the building, the building at 99 Swift Street, which is at the parallel entrance.
It's across from Klingers.
Right.
Basically,
right.
it's where the house with the giant satellite dish used to be.
Right.
Used to be, yeah. Yeah, and there's a house above it up high, a single family, and then below it, it's mostly commercial or all commercial. And I think the concern people had at the time was the traffic flow, because that's a busy intersection. Probably not now, but it will be. So, would you like time to read it and then have an email exchange that would say you
Where are we in the
approve it or
45
not?
days?
I sort of missed it.
Unfortunately, you're past the 45 days. We just won, and I apologize. But we checked with legal counsel, and their preference would be that you issue whatever decision you're going to issue regardless.
Okay. I'd like a chance to look at the document first, and we can do it by email if that's okay with everybody.
That's fine. Okay, just make sure in this instance you reply all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And should we include Kevin and Paul?
Yeah,
for
please.
those deliberations? Okay.
Refresh my memory.
Any other?
Is that the lot where they tore down that decrepit house? Is that where that was?
It's the lot that used to have the big satellite dish out front.
Yeah.
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 So,
We can wait on it, but I read Paul's, what was that? Your email, your summary, or whatever it was?
the draft decision, yeah.
And it's, what is it, 3-story affordable housing, right? And we had questions about parking. Was that it? I'm sorry.
It's 3-story apartment building, not necessarily affordable. They didn't say one way or the other. The issue that you had was about traffic and circulation. They are proposing to have 2 entrances, one directly onto Swift Street and one that would go through the existing parking lot and over to the entry on where Farrell Park is.
Yeah.
The draft decision says that that issues of traffic will be looked at by the DRB. So they'll have to look at all of that using all the standards that exist for traffic regardless.
I forget, is it the same developer as the office building next door or somebody different?
It's the same. The developer is the owner of the office building next door. Yeah.
Who is it?
It is the folks next door. Yes.
No,
Is it Dan?
I'm curious who they are. I forget.
It's Dan Morrissey, right?
Yeah. Right in Morrissey.
Okay, yeah. So, no,
And parking isn't an issue because they determine how many parking spots they need, if you recall.
And they're proposing
It was
between the two sites.
right.
okay. So we will do that by email because Dave, a few people haven't read that and would
Oh, I
like
see.
that
Okay.
opportunity.
That's fine. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's no other business, I just want to say thank you, Kevin, for keeping us abreast of all the things that you are doing and have done in all departments around this whole coronavirus situation. I appreciate you keeping us informed in it. Seems like you're making lots of good decisions and things are going forward as best they can. So I appreciate that.
I think we all appreciate that.
Second.
Thanks, Kevin. Hey, quick question.
But I do have a,
While you're still,
I have a question,
while we
too.
haven't adjourned, Kevin, I
too.
apologize. I had to forward to you that email from a resident who had a very valid point about the crowding outside Hannaford's over the weekend. And that's not supposed to be happening. And did you do anything with it or just let it sit? I'm just curious. Did you hear me on that?
I think we may have lost Kevin's audio.
yeah. Well, now he's on Tom's
Oh,
What does it
what does it say?
audio problem. Please stand by.
Kevin, if you can hear us,
Hang
the easiest
on.
thing is to dial into the phone number. I was going to let everybody know that if anybody's finding that the audio isn't great, what the DRB does is they actually use the telephone number and they use that exclusively. So Kevin, if you need the phone number, I can just give it to you, and the same for all future meetings. They all just use the spaceship speakerphone thing, and people dial in instead of using the computer audio.
Is the phone number somewhere on the screen that I can see, or is it
Yeah,
outside of?
It is. If you go to
872.
settings,
Yeah, settings. Yep.
and then you should be able to see phone, and it has a dial-in number,
It's also
872-240.
on our agenda.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah. Thank you.
So there was a question for Kevin, right?
I mean, he can't hear, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, you could call him separately, David.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Kevin, are you there?
Yep. We're back.
Okay.
We're
We're
back.
back.
He's back.
Just audio though.
Oh, I can see you.
Actually, you're on Tom's video. We can see you that way too.
Okay.
I can see
Yeah.
you. So,
Okay.
Look at the
quick
camera with the
question.
red dot.
Let me ask the quick question I asked when you were out of audio, Kevin. I
Okay.
apologize. I had to forward that email from a resident who was upset about the crowding at Hannaford's over the weekend, and I sent that to you because Hannaford's really wasn't right on that, and you'd given orders not to do things like that, or the governor had, or both of you. Did you do anything further with that? I'm just curious.
I did not, Dave. It was by the time I saw it, it was pretty much after the fact. We had 2 police officers there for the opening,
Yeah.
and they were not given instructions to interrupt the business. So we did not do anything.
Okay. Oh, well, hopefully it doesn't happen again.
We did have officers there, but they were not instructed at that time that they were to break up any large crowds.
Okay.
Dave, for what it's worth,
Kevin?
by there today,
Yeah,
and it was
Kevin?
a lot less busy.
Oh, who's that, Paul?
Yeah.
This is Paul.
No,
I went by
Megan
around
has a
4:30. Much less
Thank you.
busy.
Thanks. It was only the weekend surge because the store just opened.
Right. But I just wanted to say that some stores do have a policy saying how many people can enter the store, and there's actually someone at the door counting. just to manage the social distancing. I thought that was a pretty good policy, and I'll give that credit. That was
Costco's doing
Trader
that.
Joe's that had that policy.
Yep.
Who was
great.
it, Megan?
Trader Joe's.
Oh,
Oh.
Costco as well.
That might be something you could suggest to places of business. I know a lot of people are doing curbside or, the order out, but I think that also kind of proportioning who goes in is a good policy.
I have a question.
Yep.
So
Okay.
it's like a 12-part question. So here are all the questions.
Oh.
One, are fire and police seeing fewer calls?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not going nuts. They're actually seeing reduced calls. So that's
Fire's doing
good.
about 10 a day. And I sent you a note this afternoon that started with Chief Burks, just brief report on activities.
Oh, I haven't seen it
So
yet.
right now it's pretty quiet. We do have some snow and possible freezing rain tonight, so we may get some accidents. But the actual call volume at the fire department is actually down slightly.
Slightly, okay.
Yeah.
The next question was, is Public Works having any problem with people flushing stuff that shouldn't be flushed?
Not ours, although there's a problem all over the state right now, but we have not experienced that problem per Justin on Friday.
Because I took
Even
the
though-
tweet. There's a Burlington PW had a tweet. I tweeted that back to to Justin's Twitter account, and then they retweeted it back, and then I took a copy of it and I put it on the SBVT watch page, just saying people don't flush stuff that's not supposed to be flushed because we don't want to jam up our sewer system because everybody's home. So the next question
The problem
was,
with some of that stuff says that they're flushable.
well, but they say they are, but they're not really. So that's the
I
manufacturer's fault for putting that word on the damn package.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
The next question is, the last meeting you gave a status of the number of people who were self-quarantining and the number of people who were being tested, or what's the status of of the city's employees right now?
Right now, we have Justin Rabideau is in self-imposed quarantine based upon having come into contact with a referee at a UVM basketball game. Justin does the scorekeeping at the game.
Yeah.
He is now past the 14 days and he's back to work.
Okay.
Ashley was exposed, possibly exposed through a contact of her husband's, and she has another week. We have one one other Public Works employee who is self-imposed quarantine because of health problems within his home, his wife and his son. Tom DePietro got back from a foreign trip. He's in self-quarantine for another week, but he, of course, is Ashley's working from home.
Yeah.
And so is Tom DePietro. And I think that's it. I think there were 4 people so far, one of whom is out of quarantine.
So
It was
nobody
all
has tested
self-imposed.
positive.
We do not have anybody who's tested positive. No.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Good news.
That is good news.
The last thing I forgot to ask was, we're looking at severe downturn in the sales option tax, room and meals. The state is telling, restaurants they don't have to mail in or send in their receipts, at this time. So, I guess at our next meeting, are you going to have a proposal for some cuts we might have to make through the end of the fiscal year, or do we have to worry about the beginning of the next fiscal?
Well, the local option tax, this is catching the end of the spring payment, and then the summer payment goes half into this fiscal year and half into the next fiscal year. So it's gonna go across fiscal years and budgets that way. But Tom and I will have something for you at your next meeting on the April 6th, if not before.
Okay.
That really tries to take a look at that issue. It would be better if the state were more forthcoming about how much revenue is coming in.
Yeah.
But as you know, they're not. Maybe that's something that we can pry from them under these circumstances, and we can try that.
I mean, it is possible that there will be a swell in demand when things pick back up, but it's going to take a while for things to pick back up. And I don't think it's going to be back to normal for another 10 months, 10 months in my estimation, for a number of reasons. I mean, that's the word, kind of not the worst case scenario, but that's a long case scenario. So, and
our bigger revenue source is the sales tax, local option, as opposed to the rooms and meals. The rooms and meals is going to be virtually non-existent.
Okay.
We'll still have some sales, but we can maybe make some estimates. I'm looking back at Tom. We can maybe make some estimates on that and we won't wait till the next meeting, which is on the 6th of April. We'll get something out to you sooner than that.
Okay.
We have put a temporary budget freeze on. We'll see how long we have to maintain that, but other than emergency expenditures right now and anything necessary to keep projects going that have been going, other than that, we've got a temporary budget freeze on to be able to better evaluate where we might be and how long this might last.
Good idea.
The other thing I would add is that because we're trying to keep up day to day with our accounts payable, we may have another warrant by the end of this week, depending on what the governor decides to do and whether or not we can still continue to process AP. As long as we can, we'd like to stay current with it. So you may see another AP special warrant electronically this week, and that would be the reason for it. But we'll see how long we're able to continue to at least come in and work.
Okay. Thank you.
And we'll be able to vote on that electronically, correct?
Correct.
And then you sign it. Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
All right. Our next meeting is...
Sorry, Helen. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the next meeting in April, are we just going to consider this online format, the kind of our ongoing process, or is there going to be any process to determine how this is working? Or I feel that this, just very shortly, I feel that this was workable, but we had a very simple agenda. And I know that your goal is to have simple agendas until we can meet again, but as Tim says, it could continue for months. So I just wonder if we could also think about how we might bring in more complex issues. For instance, the vote with the school, all kinds of moving parts that are kind of put on hold, but we might have to make some pretty hefty decisions eventually.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't thought about it anymore. I, wanted to experience this before we decide to change it or stay with it. So I would agree with you. I think it worked reasonably well with a very simple agenda.
Okay.
This is Paul again. Just for what it's worth. On Friday, Kevin hosted a meeting with the South Burlington Business Association, and there were 55 to 60 people using the same technology. Some by phone, some by video, and as long as Kevin did a really nice job of sort of segmenting and asking people in subgroups to speak up, but I thought it worked really well technology-wise.
This isn't bad right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I thought it went well.
Try to figure out how to get on to GoToMeeting.
Yeah, and do we know, because are there two people on that aren't Tom and Kevin, or the five of us and Charlie?
There are
Is there-
currently 9 people on it.
Is there a member of the public on?
So there's the 5 of you, Tom, Paul, and I was on it. I may still be on it. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
So it's 8. Well, and Charlie.
right.
That's
So
not,
there are 1 or 2 more squares, and I was just curious, is it of use for us to know if anybody is attending electronically? Is there a way to take that roll or to have that in our records?
well, when we were on with the business association, the names of the participants popped up. If they had registered, if they didn't, it just came up, viewer number 5, viewer number 7. But we could do a kind of a roll call during a meeting and find out who's on, in addition to the people who come up on the screen as being there. So you could do something like that.
Well, that might be important for the record.
Yeah.
Right, keeping in mind that some people may choose to come and go throughout the whole thing too. So, as with
True,
your
and be anonymous.
key is that if somebody wants to participate in some way, that they're sharing their name. But you can certainly do a roll call at the beginning, and some people may come and go also, which is what happened. The meeting that you had a week ago, I saw some names sort of appear and then disappear at different points.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So I would entertain a motion for adjournment
So moved.
second?
and a second. And let's not roll call this. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
right.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Hopefully
you
this will
all.
get easier and better.
Good to be with you
Yeah,
guys.
folks.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.